another episode of Get Lifted. 30 is the new 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe. And hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa.
Smiley Jizzle in the building. We here, man. What's good? What's good? Happy Sunday. What is it? August 24th. Right?
Yeah.
August 24th. Well, we did the same stuff this weekend. How was your weekend?
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah, how was the weekend? We celebrated our little brother's birthday. We're brother and sister. And this brother and our younger brother, their birthdays are a week apart. So me and this brother,
Leo,
Smiley, we went out to eat to, what's the name? Kumo's?
Kumo's. It's one of the best hibachi restaurants in New Haven, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was last Thursday. We went there. They did the flames and the chop chop. We got the, what you call it, when they pour it in out?
Oh, sake?
Yeah, we got the sake. They tried to throw the food in my mouth, but I couldn't catch it or whatever. But yeah, we had shrimp and rice and sushi. It was amazing. That was last
Sunday.
That was on Sunday?
Yep, that was on Sunday.
We went on, oh yeah, it was on Sunday because, yeah. And then this week, we cooked. Me and my mom cooked for my little brother, and we had dinner with the family, and he had a couple friends over. And he turned 22. Smiley turned 40 this month.
Yes.
And
80s baby in the building.
Yeah.
Same year, Mario Brothers came out, Back to the Future came out. Well, not Mario Brothers. Mario Brothers came out in '84, but Back to the Future came out. '85 was a crazy year. Like, there was a lot of stuff that came out in '85, man. Kind of amazing year. Or like memorable things that happened in society. Year, or like memorable. So it was straight, man. I had I'm a to myself type of person. You know what I mean? I wasn't always like that. I'm kind of like the
introvert,
the outgoing person. But now I'm more reserved. I'm more laid back. I guess you could call it maturity. I don't think it is. I'm still a goofball, but I'm just more content with things. You know what I mean? I love my alone time. I get yelled at for going to the movies by myself. It's crazy.
Who you get yelled at by?
First.
Your boo thing.
Yo, you know what's crazy? I've been talking to this girl for a year, right? And you know, I don't really talk about my relationship because of my relationship. Honestly, and this is what we're gonna try to do. We're gonna try to stay away from personal on the pod. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just try to address things from a more objective view, and we can highlight how we would deal with it, but we're gonna be mindful of how society deals with it as a whole. You know what I mean? I think that's more. It's more realistic, like, and it gives us a good metric to start at, to try to come up. If we are going to come up with a solution, like, we can't solve shit, you know what I mean? But we can at least identify the problem and what's that called? Research and development. We learn, we devise a plan, we execute. You know what I mean? That's basically how it goes. But shit. Just to start off,
I have a clip that I want to play. Men often complain that women, well, not complain, but they have a problem when women say, oh, if I met a certain type of man, then I would submit. And it's like, it's relative, because certain men act like princesses, how Cash Doll put it. And then you feel like you have to out princess them because they're not in their masculine energy. That's not the dominant trait because they were raised by their mother. So they act like a female in most ways.
I was having a conversation with my homegirl the other day about something very similar. We were discussing how she has a cousin who has a kid. They have a kid together. They have a son. Their son's like a teenager, like 17, 15. And she said he's so spoiled. He doesn't want to do anything. He's so lazy. He's, whatever. And he said his father's in his life. His father had both his parents. His mother, she didn't have both her parents, but she was raised independent. She gives him everything, and he's unappreciative. I said, listen, here's the problem. Here's the problem. And they don't want to hear this shit, but this is the problem. And she's actually probably in a similar situation, which is why I get pushback when I say this, because it's triggering. The problem is, yes, you do have both parents. You're co-parenting, right? But you're not, the son is not with the father primarily. I said, you gotta fucking Trey from Boys in the Hood that motherfucker. Like, you gotta be like, you going to live with your daddy, Trey. That's what you gotta do. He gotta just go and live with his father, man. Go rake the leaves and, you know what I mean, all that shit. He gotta do that because they need that structure. They need that shit. And mom, once they get to a certain age, they're bigger than mom, they're taller than mom, and mom's calling the cops on them. That's what's going on now. Like, this era is the era of parents calling the cops on their kids because they don't have any control in the household to really discipline the children. They can't put their hands on these kids. If the kids complain that they putting their hands on them, they might lose their custody of their kid. So you gotta be real careful with stuff like that. You really care about the kid. And then some people be like, well, it's my kid or whatever. You can't be like that. You know what I mean? Like, the problem is that nobody gets it right when you're a parent. Every single one of you fuck up, right? But the thing is that we accept our failure and we learn from it. That's what should happen. That's not what always happens. So we end up raising these children the wrong way because we can't even win with ourselves. So how can we fix these kids? These kids are going to be fucked up because we think we're telling them the right thing, but we're showing them something completely different. Like, you can't tell your kid, oh, dad's an asshole. Do you see how he's an asshole? Look what he does, or whatever. Da, 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 da. But then you're being an asshole right in front of her. Like, mom, you're not being an asshole by just telling me that dad's an asshole, or telling me, hey, see what they're doing. You're showing me that you're an asshole. Because a person that's not an asshole wouldn't even acknowledge that the other parent is doing something wrong. They'll let you just see it for yourself. Because they know they're trying to do everything right. And nobody really can do everything right because we have emotions. We just deal with them differently. And go ahead and play your clip because I'm driving. Go ahead.
All right, I got a clip from Cash Doll.
Masculine go away. It's not a certain man gonna make that masculine go away. It's natural.
Okay.
As women, we get around a man that's real masculine. You can't help but just listen.
Yeah.
All right, tell me what to do. Okay.
Yeah.
But you get a man that's playing and like he acting like the princess too. If you dealing with another princess, you gotta out princess him. Now I gotta show you who the real princess.
Right.
But you gotta get a little with it.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Right.
So, I mean, it just depends on what type of man you're dealing with. That's why I said for me to sit down, it gotta be the right type of man. He gotta sit me down, and I gotta be happy here. I wanna be happy sitting down.
Shout out to Cash Doll and Shannon Sharp.
That was a little crazy. Could you put the link in the description when you get a chance?
Yeah, I'm gonna put the link in the
I was
description.
looking at the screen and I was like, yeah, that I see your thumb and shit.
Oh.
The thing your fingernails clean.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I do that.
I mean, women should have clean fingernails, but that's a whole other thing.
I burned my nail yesterday when I was lighting the candle for our brother, Kate. We had candles, and I burned my nail. Like, you could see them. It burned.
Yeah, I did that a few times. Got a little char on my nails.
But I agree
let's
with
talk about that. Yeah.
with what she's saying, and it's sad. I'm encountering. I'm single, okay. So, and I'm encountering a lot of men, and that seems to be the issue.
Is it scary?
It's either too. It's not scary because
No?
it's like for me, it's like whatever. If I find a man, like I'm not. It's not end
Why
all
isn't it
be
scary,
all.
though?
It's not end all be all because that was never like my dream. Like, oh, I want to walk down the aisle and have a family. That's
But no.
I do
Is
want
it scary to encounter an emotional man like that? Like a man that acts like a bitch?
No, it's not scary. I just don't. It
Because
never
you gotta
gets.
think, if he thinks he's a woman, he
I
might
don't think
try
he
to challenge you.
I don't think he think he a
Might-
woman. He just
but
his
generally
behaviors are
speaking,
overly
if they can't control it, could it be
I don't-
exercised in a different way?
it
That's
never
you
gets-
don't think about that?
For me, that's what I'm saying. It never gets
Why is
to
that?
point because I can notice it within a couple of
how you
conversations,
respond?
and I stop talking to them because there's
No, but in that moment.
It don't get to a point of where we're like, I can. There
When
are
the guy's
other.
acting like a bitch, he starts raising his voice at you or whatever.
You're
No,
not
because
letting
listen.
me talk. I
'Cause
know
this is
what
what
you're
I
saying.
want
I
you to
don't let
answer
it.
that.
When it
Answer
comes
that.
to
When it happens, what
romantic,
happens?
this is what I'm saying. Nobody that I'm dating, I don't deal with that. If I notice that you will have that type of mentality, it don't have to get to that. There are other symptoms that I can pinpoint early on, and if I see, it's not just. It don't have to be you screaming and yelling.
I'm talking about that.
There are other. That's what I'm saying. I don't let it get to that. I stop
You can't
dealing
avoid it
with
if
you.
it happens.
No,
So when it
I
happens,
stop dealing
hypothetically, how
with
do you do
you
it?
because I can tell that you're that type of person. So I don't. I stop dealing with you because I'm turned off now.
How
at
do
this
you?
point.
What happens when? And let's just say this happens on your first encounter. What's your reaction to
It
it?
never happened on the first
I
encounter.
understand that.
That's
What
I'm
would you
saying.
do?
I would
You don't
just
know?
stop talking to you, like I said.
No, but if it's happening, it's not just stop talking to him. It's like a nigga like, yo, I asked you a question, or grabbing you and da 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 da. What I asked you, what happens? I want to know what happens. What happens? Just be honest. Be
Stop
real.
talking to you. That's
You
what
say
I'm
you keep saying you're gonna stop talking to
Because
him. Just say what the
there
fuck is gonna
are
happen.
other characteristics.
I'm not talking about
All right,
that.
can
I'm
you
being
let
very
me-
specific.
Can you let me explain?
This is the problem.
When I
This
can
is
you
what
let
this.
me-
Hold on. Somebody that was watching our episode last time said this. Why can't you just answer the question?
I answered the question. I said I would stop talking to
No,
you. You
but I
don't
said
like
for
my
that. No,
answer,
it's not. I don't
so
like
you're
the answer.
telling me to change
I'm
it.
saying something specific. You said you don't let it get to that. I said, okay, it happened. It happened.
It didn't.
What do you do?
That only
What
happened
do
with
you
people
do?
that I don't
Okay,
look at
what
in a
do you
romantic
do?
sense.
What do you do?
I
It
would
happens.
stop talking
This guy
to them.
fooled
I
you.
would
You
remove
met their
myself from
representative.
the
They do
situation.
this. How do you remove yourself from the situation?
Stop talking to them.
Why you smiling? Just say it. I want to
That's
know what
the
you're gonna
answer.
do. You trying to be
answered
politically correct, or you just
No,
you
I
just really
answered the
avoiding it on
question.
purpose?
Listen, when I'm dating,
I yell. I call 911. I
I
let
don't-
somebody. I let my friend know what's going on. I attack him. Whatever. I walk away. You're not saying anything. You're just saying I don't let it get to that. It happened. Now how do you deal with it?
I stop talking to them. I avoid
You know what?
contact. I let them
You
say
being
whatever.
funny. You
I'm
being
not gonna.
disingenuous right
No,
now.
I'm not.
You are.
If that happened, there was somebody but I didn't like them, and this is what I'm saying. When I meet someone, there are other characteristics. It's not just the yelling and the going back and forth and the arguing and stuff. It'll be like they're complaining about things all the time. They do. It's certain other traits that they have that are synonymous or usually associated with women that I can pick up on early on, and then it'll be like, okay, I already know what type how you are. I'm not even gonna get into that because outside of romantic relationships, I've encountered that, so I already see it coming before just like last week. If you wanna, like, that was a situation. Like, what did I say? I didn't say nothing. I'm not about to say. At this point in my life, maybe I have argued with people in the past, but at this point in my life, I don't have the energy to go back and forth and argue with someone over frivolous things. Like I don't have it in me. So if I feel like you're a person that, in general, whether you're a man or a woman, but we talk about romantic relationships, but like I don't have the energy. So if somebody is the type that's gonna go back and forth and that's gonna just, you know, be petty and do little stuff like that, I avoid. I don't. There are other signs. I'm aware at this point, in 33 years of life, how to avoid those type of people. And that's my problem when it comes to dating, because it's either one of two things. I'll meet a man that's overly expressive with his emotions, and he doesn't know how to control them to the point to where I feel like he's acting like a female, or he has everything that I want, but he's a hoe. So those are the two issues that I'm encountering when I in the dating market. But when I pick up on, I think I'm willing to tolerate you being a hoe more than you acting like what I consider to be acting like a female.
That's interesting.
Because
But
you're still a man. You still have all those other.
Both
You're
of those,
still
you're still a man.
masculine. And none of it has to do with finances. Anybody that I've dated, they always have their stuff together. I don't care
about that, right?
about that to a certain extent.
Because we're talking about behavior. We're not even talking about finance. So listen, can I speak? I'm about to use this as a segue into another topic. This is stress, women versus men, and how we deal with stress. I'm gonna break it down in a very scientific way, so that everybody can kind of follow along. And this actually is a perfect example. Now, I was talking to a friend about how men deal with things and how women deal with things. I talk to women a lot about how men deal with things, how men deal with things and how women deal with things. So, from my perspective, a lot of women are getting similar behaviors, and some women are in a certain bracket where, unfortunately, they have to tolerate a certain caliber of man. They're not equipped to deal with what comes with dealing with the man that they really want sometimes, and they don't want to go below, or they don't want to go even. So a lot of times there's challenges. Like, you don't want Poindexter, you want the gangster. Not you per se, but in general in this era, that's what they're looking for. So because of that, we have these issues where there's people that are trying to date beyond their level, and the only reason it's beyond their level is because they're not at their best yet. Not saying that they can't get there, but for men, are short kings. You gotta go to the gym. You gotta work out. You gotta get healthy. You gotta take care of your skin. You gotta get an edge up. You gotta be. You don't have to have the flyest, most expensive clothes on, but iron your shirt and make sure that your pants look. They look like they have a decent hem. Like, they're not too baggy. They don't look like the fucking Indiana Jones pants or some shit like that. Like, they look like regular fucking pants, slacks, maybe a straight fit, you know what I mean, whatever. Or your shirt. Now, fashion is just a component, because visual is just one part. But I was reading a book on body language. I just finished reading a book on body language. I'll recommend it later. But in this book, it tells you visually how people accept certain things. And our behaviors are all based on basically how we feel. Like, if you don't really give a fuck, be depressed and shit like that, then you're not gonna really put a lot of pride into your appearance. You know what I mean? I went through little parts in life, little stints, I guess you would call it, where I didn't give a fuck. I didn't care wearing pajamas to just walk to the gas station or something like that. Like, you know what I mean? I didn't really take pride in things like that, because I was singularly focused on my responsibilities and didn't really care about you know, going out here dating or whatever. But when we're talking about relationships, behavior is what most people pay attention to. Women have stress. Men have stress. But men deal with stress differently than women deal with stress. So let's talk about that. So we got the hormonal response, right? So cortisol plus estrogen, progesterone, oxytocin rises strongly, right? So with the heart and the normal shit that comes with being a woman, estrogen, progesterone, the oxytocin level rises strongly. That's the hormonal response for women dealing with men. And with men, the heart, you know, the cortisol and adrenaline, and less oxytocin. Now let's explain what oxytocin is, right? So oxytocin is kind of like a drug that we produce ourselves that gives us excitement, right? It affects us differently. So it's like an upper. Women get a lot of it during sex. Men lose some of it during sex, right? So we feel after we finish, we're like, you know, we're out of energy. We lost a little bit of protein or whatever. And women are like invigorated. They want to make you breakfast or some shit like that. You know, sometimes they take a little nap and then they get up and they up and at it. You know what I mean? But that's a different level of stress. That's good stress because y'all fed y'all urge. But that's how we're affected for a hormonal response. Now, a stress pathway, women tend and befriend, nurture and connect to whatever their stress is. So basically what that means is, like, say a woman has a hard task or something that she got to do, she'll find a way to cope with someone else that has a similar thing, to talk to them about it, and that'll help her through it. She'll tell a whole bunch of people, and she'll try her best to try to make it easier to deal with that situation through that. Or trying to befriend a person in a negative situation to kind of ease the tension. Guys don't do that. Guys are more direct. Our response is normally action. That's the most logical response for us. It's only two things: fight or flight. So our reaction is normally action or withdrawal.
And then they try to come up with a solution if you have a problem.
Right. So that's what it is. That's the action. So the solution is just like, we either gonna solve the problem, or if it's nothing that we gotta worry about, then we just won't worry about it. That's it. Women gotta, well, we could do it like this, and then we could do this, and they got like a fucking, what's that shit? The web graph of everything and shit. You know what I mean? Like, no, look, this is all we gotta do. We can either do this or just don't worry about it. There's nothing we gotta worry about. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. And we put things off. That's not always a good thing, and this is the thing. We need each other, because sometimes there's ideas that are shared from the woman that men can benefit from, and sometimes in the man's leadership, we can be onto something, and we just need that extra push from her to help us get to that point. You know what I mean? But we got this gender battle, you know what I mean? And a lot of times, I see it on the podcast, like some of the podcasts that I've been on, they talk about like the reason that, you know, some of these dudes is not in a relationship or can't find a woman is because they're not trying. They watch all this red pill shit and all that other shit, but they don't do any of the stuff that they talk about. Like, all they do, what they talk about, is they hate women, dislike women. You know, that's the only thing they do. They don't think of any way that, okay, well, how can I get a woman? They be like, go to the gym. These dudes be fat. They be behind the computer all day. They don't even put in the work. None of these dudes put in the work. And the dudes that be complaining most of the time, like, you know, I grew up in an era, you know, I told you it was my 40th birthday a few days ago. I grew up in an era where there wasn't no six figures, you know what I mean? Short dudes was getting them, tall dudes was getting them, you know what I mean? We was with the people in our environment. People ain't had no money to fly nobody out, nothing like that. Like, you know what I mean? It was regular. Like, you meet somebody at the roller rink, or you meet somebody, you know what I mean? You meet somebody at the mall, or you meet somebody, you know, wherever, like, you know what I mean? And that's how you hooked up. You would catch the bus to certain spots, or catch a cab to certain spots, or whatever, and you would meet people. We were social.
I think most women don't really care about that. Women speak about that, but I think if they meet the right man with the personality, with that masculinity that we look for, that make you feel safe, you don't care. As long as he have a job and he's able to take care of himself, you don't care what the number is, because he's fulfilling you on another level that most of these men, like I said, nowadays, they don't have. They acting like females. Like, so if I'm in danger or something, who's gonna save us? I gotta protect us. I gotta go get, like, okay, if I got it, but you should have it too. Like, I should be behind you. Like, it should be your natural instinct to, like, but it should be your natural instinct to protect me. But with
like,
that comes submission. So if you're gonna be willing to put your life on the line, then the woman should listen to you when you tell her to do something. She should obey. And women don't like that as a cuss word, submission, obey. But I don't know, it feels good to me. Because you submit. Women, this is the crazy thing about it. When you having sex, you submit. When you bend over, when you open, you submit. And then you submit to your boss.
Because that's the same thing I was talking about. That's a transactional thing. But check it out.
But you submit to your boss.
Right. But listen.
But you expect him to put his life on the line, but you don't want to listen to him when he like, come on, let's go. It's something about to go down. I don't feel like it's safe. I don't want you going to the club tonight because, or let's leave because.
You gotta understand that the patient's gotta be on both ends.
Or I don't want you to dress a certain way because
but
a
woman has to be taught either through her experience or from somebody that's knowledgeable enough to lead her in that way, for her to accept those type of conditions. You're not gonna just come off the rip with that. If you're dealing with women that haven't had a lot of experience, sometimes they'll be good. But the problem is that women are very entitled because a lot of dudes fill their head up. A lot of dudes that want to get chose, they do too much. And they got these women that is not enough, really acting like they are enough, and really making it difficult for dudes that really can do better and really just want to, I just want to build with you. You know what I mean? I don't care about none of that, like, whatever. The problem is that it's not really a problem. It's just biological difference. It's more scientific facts. The neurological pattern, the amygdala and the hippocampus, emotional and memory link. That's for women, right? So this is what women have: the amygdala and the hippocampus. Those are brain cortexes or whatever.
We both have.
Right?
It affects
But hold on. Emotion and memory link. That's what those two things do. Now, men have the amygdala plus motor regions, right? It's an action link, right? There's a difference. So one is an emotional memory link and one is an action link, right? Two different things with two different purposes. And this is, we're biologically wired to be this way, neurologically, right? Now this is science. I'm not just saying this shit. This is some scientists, dude, that studied brains and studied activity and did bad clinical studies and all this other shit, was the person that came up with this shit, not me. You know what I mean? Somebody like Ben Carson came up with this shit. But those are the neurological differences. Now, here's emotional processes. Now we're going to talk about the actual emotion part. Emotional processing. So for women, the emotional processing is stress felt deeply, remembered vividly, right? Because remember, it's the amygdala and the hippocampus, which is the emotion and memory link, right? So the emotional processing is a stress felt deeply and remembered vividly. So it's a vivid picture, like you can't escape it. For guys, it's a stress processed physically, less emotionally, right? So it's processed physically. So basically, if we're dealing with something emotional, it doesn't really hit us the same way because it's not something that affects us physically. If it's something that affects us physically, like a pain, like an actual physical pain, like something, a knee or a break or running into something or getting hit by something, you know, those type of things, the trauma is going to be, you know, we're going to deal with that because it's something that actually just happened. And that's going to be an immediate response. And it's going to be more physical and less emotional. So it's like, if I get hurt or something hit me, ow. If it's hot, I'm like, yeah, it's hot, whatever. You know what I mean? If it's cold, yeah, it's cold, whatever. You know what I mean? But nigga gonna get a cold, nigga gonna be sniffing, nigga gonna be doing all that shit.
But some dudes, they'll be like, it's hot, oh my god, it's
because
so
that
hot
could
in
mean
here.
that could mean neurologically they have more feminine emotional processing. And that's perfectly fine. That can come from behaviors that you learned when you were growing up. That could come from being around certain people. That could come from trauma, whatever. But that's how the pattern is. Biologically, the pattern should be like that. Social cultural influence. So for women, it's multiple roles, encouraged to seek support from other people, like asking other people opinion and shit like that. For men, it's pressure to appear strong, discouraged from seeking help. So this is for social cultural influence. So we have to appear like we're not vulnerable. You understand what I'm saying? That's how society, because it's a social cultural influence, society makes it appear that men have to always appear strong. So that's a social construct. That's basically an exact example of a social construct. Because that's why we're the way that we are, because of those social constructs. So what we try to do is try to break traditional norms if they affect us detrimentally. Because we want to perpetuate society progressively and whatever, right? So that's why we don't want people to be fed bullshit like the moon is gonna come and eat us 2 days, or you know what I mean? We don't want to feed people the bullshit, because if we do, we're doing a disservice. We're just doing this shit for fun. And we are doing this shit for fun. But we get value from it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't sit back and watch it like, yo, we said that. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was some good information. When my boy is telling me, yo, that's some good information, I love it. And I'm happy that he's watching our shit, you know? But so society really fucks with us when it's trying to put that barrier, like my homegirl saying, men are softer now or some shit like that. And I'm like, well, that's because they raised by single parents. And then she's like, I don't think that's so. And I'm like, I think that's so. Well, you was raised by, yeah, it's different. I was around dudes. I went to the military. Like, I was outside. Like, so many different things. And when I said I consider myself an anomaly, she was like, no, don't start. Like, I'm like, nah, because people that usually grow up in the conditions the way that I grew up don't turn out the way that I turned out. Like prison, all that other shit. Like, some shit could have went terribly worse in my life, and it didn't. You know what I mean? So that's a blessing. So I always say this shit. People think it's cheesy, but every day I wake up is a blessing. You know what I mean? I'm just happy to wake up. You know what I mean? Because some people don't. Some people don't get the luxury of waking up every day. You know what I mean? So that's at least something that I could be thankful for if I'm not thankful for anything else. You know, rest in peace to my boy Jason Matt too. You know, that hit hard. That's my people's. You know what I mean? But That's another stress that we got to deal with. Loss, how we deal with that, right? But stress expression. So this is for women, internalizing stress, anxiety, and depression. So they can't internalize it because they get anxiety and depression. Men, externalizing stress, anger, aggression, risk taking. So stress becomes so bad for us that we just crash out, right? We let it pile up to the point that we can't deal with it anymore, and then we explode. That's a male response. It's not a female response, even though females think that that's a response. That's a male response, right? Because women are not violent. Men are violent. You know what I mean? So that's always a strong component with men. Like, that's the only thing that our emotions go into rage. Well, yeah, like
that's emotional too.
Right.
If you get mad because somebody said something and then you put your hands on them or you pew them, that's emotional too.
Right.
That's not. It may look masculine because it's a physical.
But again,
a man is supposed to remain.
This is science. That's a stress expression, right? So that stress expression is anger, aggression, or risk taking for men, right? So those are all.
Aggression is an emotion.
These are emotions, but this is a stress expression. So an emotion is a stress, right? So the stress expression for men is normally externalizing the stress, anger, aggression, or risk taking.
Yeah, that's
so
why men
that's
need
normal.
to not hold
We need
stuff
women.
in.
Women are what counteracts us because
men are
women
human
need,
too, and they hold
right.
stuff
We have
in.
to help
They need
each
to
other.
let it out. And
We have to help
need
each
to stop
other.
treating them like, oh, they can't.
Cause see, here's the beauty of it. I'm reading all of these. I'm reading what the man is. I'm reading what the woman is, so that you can see how they bounce back. Like, women need people. They need grouping. They need to talk about it. We gotta let it out. They want to hear it. They probably feel the same way. But that's look. They need that. We have to do it, right? So they get it, and then they feel more comfortable to share. Then they can get over their anxiety. You know what I mean? Then we're not holding it in and we're not exploding because we're able to let it out. Because she's like, it's okay, it's okay. But guys never feel vulnerable. It's never a safe space. In this dating age, it's not really a safe space.
It's a healthy way.
It's not a safe space for us to let it out the way we need to let it out. It's not a safe space for us to let it out the way we need to let it out. You know what I mean? Women soothes the savage beast, and they don't understand it. But women are getting more masculine. So it's backwards, and it's making us backwards. So that's the stress expression. So that's normal. For men to crash out is normal.
If I'm dealing with a man, if you lost someone or something like that, like, I'll hug you if you need to cry and stuff like that. Like, I'm not gonna look. I feel like we're all human. Things happen. I don't think no adult, and people say women are emotional, whatever, but if you're a woman and you walk around crying all the time, then you need to go deal with that. You need to go talk to somebody because there's something deeper going on. You shouldn't just be crying all the time. Every single thing, every time something goes wrong, you can't deal with it. You're an adult. You need to learn emotional regulation. But if something traumatic happens in your life, it is okay. You should have, men feel like it's not okay because, like you said, they don't have people that they could go to, and then they get judged, and then they call you out your name and say,
well, we
whatever.
do, but that's
like,
because of the social constructs.
Yeah,
right?
Society makes you
Right.
feel like you have to hold it in. But I'm telling
Right.
you, if I have a man and he's going through something, he lost somebody close to him or whatever, and he feel like he want to talk, I'm not gonna throw it in your. And I get it because a lot of times men do it too. If somebody open up to you, and then you feel some type of way later on, then you want to throw it in their face. You can't do that. And this is why your man won't open up to you, or why he going to Jackie or Becky with the good hair, because she listens to him when he having a problem, and he probably complaining about you to her because you're not a safe space. You got to create a safe space for that man
So-
to be able to open up and feel comfortable, or he's not going to. And you have to be able to communicate in a relationship in order for it to work.
So here are some resilience tools that we have for both sexes. So for women, it's talking, journaling, bonding, community. Some of the things that you just said, right? That mentioned it. And for men, it's action-oriented coping and problem solving.
Yeah,
so it's
maybe
more,
exercise,
it's more of a
go
direct-
jogging, go to the gym or something.
Right.
Go, and they
those
have
are
male
things
groups
that they use, yeah.
and
Those are
stuff.
things that they use.
You know,
Yeah.
do some research.
Those are
Therapy,
things that
there's
they
nothing wrong with therapy. Like, because maybe you don't have anyone in your life that understands what you're going through, and you can find someone that's trained in that particular subject that understands and that can help you on how to deal with it and how to move forward, because you're still alive, so you still have to continue, even though maybe you lost someone or whatever happened in your life that's hurting you or hindering you or making you feel emotional. Like, you always have some type of option, even if it's not someone that you know directly. Google is your friend, chat GPT,
Right.
type it in. What do I do if this happened and I don't have no one in my direct circle that can help me or that understands what I'm going through, and it help you find or help you start to look, you know. And I think it is important when you're going to therapy. I've gone to therapy before. I think it's important that you have to find, like, anything. The first therapist you meet may not be the one for you. I think it's kind of like dating. When you're finding a therapist, you have to find the right one. Like, you have to find someone that understands your background, where you came from, and things that you're going through. Because you might go to a therapist and they might not. Maybe if you're black and you go to a white therapist, they may not and if you come from the hood or you come from a certain background or something, they may not understand. They might give you different advice that is not going to work for you because they never been in your shoes or they don't know nobody that was in your shoes. Because it's more than just about studying the books when it comes to psychology. It's also about living it or being able to understand and being able to relate to your situation that helps with them being able to help you. So you might have to go through a couple therapists before you find the one that's best for you.
I agree.
And it doesn't mean that you're crazy, because a lot of people, and let me make this clear. A lot of people think that, oh, if you go to therapy that you're crazy or something. No. First of all, there's two different types of, it's a psychiatrist and a psychologist. A psychologist, all they do is listen. They talk. That's where you just talk. Psychiatrist is the one that prescribes medication. If you don't want, that's different. So let me just distinguish between the two. Psychiatrist prescribes medication. A psychologist is just someone to talk to. So it's important to understand that. And like I said, yeah, it's kind of like dating. You might have to go through, interview a couple, have a couple sessions, and you have to be open and willing to talk. Because if you're closed off and you shut down and you don't want to talk about, now I don't know what people go through, and if you're going through certain things, like if you're like a criminal or you done criminal activity, you haven't been caught, then yeah, you can't talk about that. I don't know how you really gonna help.
They can recommend the script, can't they? Psychologists.
No, they can't prescribe you medication.
Not prescribed.
They can refer you to someone. Anybody
Can they
refer you.
can they recommend? Can they recommend something?
I feel like that's the same as like.
Because they're
It's
not
not
actually
prescribing,
giving
they're
you
not
a script,
writing
but
it,
they're saying
but
like
referring
here,
you
go
would
to-
have to have
well,
the
yeah,
knowledge.
referring-
You don't go to
but
school
referring
for
referring this
medical
person,
things.
but they probably have some knowledge of it. So you referring
Maybe,
somebody to
but I don't
something
think you do
because I think
medication.
you might need value. Here, I'm gonna make you go see this psychiatrist because
Yeah, that's why I said they could refer you to
possibly.
someone.
I don't know.
But I just want to make that distinction, because a lot of people, when we talk about this, they think that, oh, they're gonna put me on medication, and I just want to make the distinction. A psychiatrist is able to prescribe medications. So if you don't want to take medication and you just want to talk to someone, then you need to go to a psychologist, because they're just there to talk. Yeah, they can refer you to someone, but usually if they try to make you take something or suggest that, then there's probably something else going on that you might want to look into or whatever. I don't think in most cases that they're going to try to put you on medication when you're talking to a psychologist, unless you told them something that's really wild, like I was getting ready to say. If you're like an unaliver, or if you're a shooter, or you do certain stuff, like, I don't know, you can't talk about that, you know. So certain things you can't really discuss if you're a criminal or whatever, because if you're putting yourself in danger or someone else, or they think that you're going to do that, then they have to report it. So you have to keep that in mind too. But if you're a normal person, you're a civilian, you don't partake in that criminal activity, then I think it would be helpful if you're going through something and you don't have no one in your everyday life.
Tony Soprano had a shrink. Yo, they say vulnerability is, so these are some of the things, if you don't practice some of these things that we suggested, these are some of the things that you could be susceptible to. Higher risk of anxiety, this is for women, higher risk of anxiety, depression, chronic stress. So women will just always be, having panic attacks, be depressed all the time.
Because you're not dealing with it. And then men will just crash
Men,
out. Like,
I'm gonna tell you what men do. Higher risk of substance abuse and health issues, also chronic stress. So it's a little more dire for men because we carry it on our shoulders so much. We don't have anywhere
women
to let it
That's
out.
what they're saying. But I think all people do substance abuse if they're not dealing with, I don't want to say all people, but I think men and women alike. You might drink,
but these are higher
or
risk for men because of how we deal with these things. And I mean, the numbers show a staggering rate of self-deletions of men, versus women, life expectancy, all of these things, because we do the hard stuff. And I guess we don't cry about not getting appreciated for it, but I guess now we are. They got the red pill, they got the whiners, they got the people that really know what they're talking about. I mean, we could see it. I mean, you don't gotta be a rocket scientist to know that the way things are moving is not really good. Like, we gotta do better. Because if we really want these relationships to work, we gotta try.
Yeah.
You can't complain that a woman is not doing what she's supposed to do, and you're a dude and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Like, that's crazy. We both gotta put forth the effort. Real shit. But let's get into another topic.
What do you think? Before you say that, if a girl calls you cute because you're a grown man, do you think there's something wrong with saying cute? I think you said that before too, but somebody just messaged me and they were like, they were talking to someone, they were like, oh, you look cute, and he was like, cute. Like, they didn't like that she said he was cute. Like, they were
so terms are different depending on the context, who it's coming from.
Well, they like each other.
Hold on, I'm answering your question.
It's a romantic setting.
I know what you get. So let me cook.
No, but I'm just explaining so you know what the...
So with men,
This is weird.
it's certain things. It's certain things that we don't do, and it goes back into the things we just broke down with the stress factors and societal constructs, right? This is why we behave the way that we behave. Certain things are not okay. Certain things are okay. You can say whatever word is in the dictionary. It doesn't matter what word you say. It doesn't make you gay for saying a word. The psychological aspects of how you feel
No,
towards.
I'm asking
Hold
why
on,
would a
hold on, hold
man
on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
be
Let me
offended?
cook. Let me cook my way. I know what it is. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm circling. The psychological aspects of certain things, it doesn't have anything to do with what you say. It's how you perceive your connection with yourself, your sex, or your counter sex, right? So if you are sexually attracted to men psychologically, then what you're saying could be like, oh, you gotta say pause, or it's just something that we do. It's just a force of habit because that's how we moved when we were growing up. Again, that's the environment, the social construct. But is there really technically anything? This is why I say we gotta say an objective, because if I say subjectively, I'm just talking about just the same rhetoric. But if I'm gonna say an objective thing, there's really technically nothing wrong with the word cute. It's just men.
Why would you feel away?
Okay, again, we said this in the beginning. Personally, we wasn't gonna do that, but I can tell you that I'll say this. I'll entertain it. Personally, why I feel like I don't like it, because I feel like it's not a masculine language. There's certain terms that we use as men that
like
we,
okay,
I'm answering your question.
I'm
answering your question.
Yeah, like when women be like, oh, those shoes are cute, so you equate it to,
I know what you're talking about.
To that.
What I'm saying is, overall, there's more than just that one word, right? There's more than just that one action, right? There's everything, like let's just say your challenges or whatever, doing the dance challenges or whatever. Some men are gonna do it, and some men are doing it, but that's what we're talking about, right? The lack of masculinity in our diaspora right now, because of dudes doing things that we really didn't consider to be masculine at a certain period of time. If you're a professional dancer and that's what you do, that's different. But just normal guys that they do something completely different, just doing dances, it's just not normal. To me, it's not masculine, but other people may have a different opinion of it, and that's perfectly fine. But the way I feel about just like any term like cute, like a baby is cute, okay, cool. Is the sensitivity, the sweetness, the little, soft side, that's not really, it doesn't feel comfortable. You understand what I'm saying? So like, it's like, you like those things because you're a woman. Even though you're tough and everything, you're a woman. So those things are gonna be relative to you. It's not relative. It's not relative to me, right? So I have to. A lot of times I have to say no on a lot of shit because I'll be like, yo, I'm not a girl.
No, that's what I said.
And that's
I was like,
a lot of problems
he's not a baby, so that's probably what he's thinking.
But not even.
He's a grown man.
It's just
handsome or sexy or.
Well, it's just I don't know. It's just weird. You know what I mean? Like certain things, like when Diddy said daddy, like a lot of people don't know that's New York jargon.
Yeah, I've heard people.
If you don't know certain lingo, then you're not going to catch on with somebody, saying certain things. And it is what it is. You know what I mean? But if you know, you know. I just leave it at that. Not to dig too deep into a rabbit hole with that, but I didn't think it was anything too crazy with that. And the whole thing with Diddy, like, yeah, Diddy's a weird dude. He's a kink. But then certain things, again, going back to psychologically, his behaviors would have to be a part of his psychological attraction to whatever gender. So even if he's rubbing stuff on himself from some other guy, pause. That's kink. That's crazy. That's weird. And most guys wouldn't find that masculine. Just like a lot of guys probably don't like to say cute. You know what I mean? But some guys say it. And when they say it, a lot of guys, if you're around a lot of hood dudes, they look at you weird, like, what the fuck? Like, and they don't even know because they're so comfortable in the way that they are, you know what I mean? They don't see anything about it. Like there's so many things that are different. And sometimes when you look at dudes, you be like, damn, that boy been touched. You know what I mean? You just don't know, like, you know what I mean? But I feel like everybody's different in society today. Society is fucking insane. But as far as with that, like just saying like a word, like no word can mean anything. It's just you can't force a motherfucker. Just like people were trying to say, like, somebody's gonna call themselves he, him, she, whatever, and you know what they are. Like, you was Roger last week, now you want to be Ramona. Like, what are you doing? So now it's like, all right, Raj, like, you got me, bro. Don't call me bro, call me sis. Like, what? Like, all right, you're doing too much. Like, if you feel like that and you behave like that, then there's consequences that come with that behavior. You either have to respect somebody's wishes, like if somebody tell you this is what they want you to call them, then I guess call them that, because that's what they want you to call them, if you respect that person. If you don't have any respect for that person, then you're gonna do whatever you're gonna do. You have to think, you have to draw a line where you're just gonna be rebellious just to be rebellious and always have a conflict, or you're gonna resolve the situation by just saying, you know what, I'm just gonna call him Ramona. You know what I mean? But that's what he wants. But a 16-month-old child left home while mom goes on a 10-day getaway.
Where is that at?
Let me go into the chat. Yeah, that was
16-month-old. That ain't even 2 years.
Yeah, that's. She wild, bro. She wild.
She put the kid out.
Nah, the baby was in the crib.
So she left the 16-month-old at home while she went on
Yeah, the
vacation.
baby was crying and shit. The neighbor heard it.
So she left.
The neighbor, yo, the neighbor a D-head, yo. Cause like, how you hear that and you don't call the police? You know she ain't there. You hear it, babe. What you think is going on? You think it's a TV?
Left alone for 10 days.
10 days, bro.
She went to Puerto Rico.
Let me find it.
And the baby.
You got it. You got it.
Every woman, especially in menopause, should do 7 minutes of time.
Mom leaves baby girl home to
16,
unalive.
2023, a neighborhood on the west side of Cleveland,
Was it
Ohio,
in 23
became the
or this
backdrop for
year?
incomprehensible crime. Crystal Candelario, a 31-year-old mother, came back from a 10-day vacation to discover a nightmare scenario in her own home. Her 16-month-old daughter was found in a dire state of neglect, her condition so severe that it rendered first responders speechless and brought hardened detectives to tears. As the investigation unfolded, it laid bare an even more shocking reality: the chain of events that led to such appalling neglect. In this video, we will examine the details of the Candelario case and confront the harrowing question that haunts everyone touched by this case. How and why could such a vulnerable child fall victim to what a judge has described as the ultimate betrayal?
So what do you think about that?
First of all, if people stop leaving your kids in the house by themselves. If they under a certain age, I would say that they're under 11 or 10. And depending on the maturity of
leaving them in the house
kid,
by themselves.
that's what she did. She left
She
her in the
did,
house.
but like, this is some psycho shit. Like a 16-month-old for 10 days in a
That's
crib.
what I'm saying. If they're under
Like
a certain age,
I wouldn't even
shouldn't.
think that you should do it for
Yeah,
like
you
an older
shouldn't
kid,
even have
right?
to say that.
But infant, a
Yeah.
toddler is crazy work. Like that's like it's extreme.
Yeah, and
This is
I
an
think
extreme case.
if you're under, I would say 11, 10, you shouldn't. And even at that age, it shouldn't be for a long period of time. Like if you're going to the store real
Yeah,
quick.
10 days is crazy.
No, I'm saying the age. I'm saying under 10 years old or 11 years old, you shouldn't be leaving them in the house by yourself. But even at 10 or 11, it should be.
2 weeks.
It shouldn't
though?
be.
Think 2
No,
weeks
it should
by
only
themselves?
be for
That's
like if you're going.
You saw Home Alone.
It should only be for like if you're going to the grocery store or you're going to the store real quick and you're coming back. You should not be leaving your kid if they're under an age that's old enough to take care of themselves. You shouldn't be leaving them in the house for weeks on end or days by themselves. That's no. If they're like 11, 12, something like that, if you're going to the store real quick and you're coming right back, maybe, and then you tell them don't open the door, whatever. But a baby, an infant, No, absolutely not. You should have brought them with you. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, that person shouldn't have been a parent, and then that child was unalive. I don't know if it's the same situation. Was that this year? That said 2023. So that's ridiculous. This is why I feel like some people shouldn't have kids, because a lot of people that have kids are getting their kids taken away, and it hurts my heart. And then people get mad because, like, I don't have children. I'm 33 with no kids, but I have common sense, and I would not leave my baby in the house by themselves. Like, I would not, and especially for weeks, like, or for days. Like, what's wrong with you? I wouldn't leave them at all for an hour, for a few minutes, because they're little. They need you to take care of them. They're a baby. They're dependent on you to take care of them. So that shouldn't even be a thought that crosses your mind. If you're a person that thinks that that's acceptable and that's okay to leave an infant, a person under the age of 2, in the house by themselves with no supervision, then you don't need to have children. And then that's that. But of course, people are gonna.
She was with her other kid.
How old was the other kid?
Like teenager.
Even still, I think okay, I don't
She
know.
was
There's a
with
number
the other
of factors.
kid and left the infant home for 10 days.
So she brought the older kid with her and left the baby in the house. So she shouldn't have had no kids. This is what I'm talking about. I believe, and I've talked about this before on here, I believe it's gotten to a point where we need to evaluate people before they have children, unfortunately. Because some people are just not, they're just not meant to be, they should not be parents. They need to do a mental evaluation. They need to check your finances to a certain extent. You don't need to be rich, but both parents need to have a certain income in order to come together to be able to provide for that child, because that is important. They need to do a mental evaluation and make sure that you're sane, that you're not going to unalive your child, put them in a situation to where they can be unalived. Like, so I think that's something that needs to be implemented, because there's a lot of kids that are getting unalived by their parents, or getting put in a situation where they're being unalived, getting taken away, getting put in the system so they can be abused or unalived by other people that are now gaining custody of those children, because the parent that gave birth to them wasn't responsible enough to take on that responsibility of being their biological parent. So this is something that I wish, and sometimes I wish that I was like the president, or that I don't want to run for president. I don't want that type of responsibility, but I think I have some good, some good views or some good policies that needs to be implemented, because these people, did you see the rates of what happens to these kids when they're taken away, when they're going into state custody, when they're taken out of the custody of their parents? And then it's no better with, depending on who the parent is, when they're the parent, some of these parents are unaliving their kids. This is ridiculous, and it's sad, and it makes me cry sometimes. And it's like, I don't have kids, but there are some family members that I have that I feel like they're like my child. Like, I have a little brother. I feel like he's like a son or whatever. Like, I can't imagine, like, I don't know. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, we gotta do something. Like, there needs to be some type of laws that are implemented to prevent these type of things from happening, because it's happening at a rate that's scary now. And it's not okay. And then nobody cares about it. We talk about it for a moment, and then it passes, and then until the next crazy situation happens, we gotta do something to prevent this from happening, because it's happening too often. This is just sad. It's just ridiculous. If y'all don't want to have kids, because that's what it seems like in this situation, you want to go on vacation after you just had a kid and you don't got no babysitter. All right, well, stay your ass in the house. If you can't do that, then don't have no fucking kids. Use a condom or get on birth control, although I don't agree with that. Personally, birth control for myself, because it causes cancer and other things, but we're not going to discuss that. But if you don't want to have kids, then don't get pregnant. Don't have a child and then not take on the responsibility. You already had the child now, so you need to do what you're supposed to do. Like, that's not fair. Like, you can't keep doing this stuff. Like, this is unacceptable. Like we got to do something to change this. Like we gotta- the cycle is never gonna change. Esteban, I think the cycle will change.
That's what he said?
Yeah, he said the cycle is never gonna change. Thank you for tuning in, Esteban. And I think the cycle can change if we have someone that's in that a president or some type of politician that's put in place that has the same views as what I'm saying, is that if they care about the future and these kids that are growing up and that are coming up in this world, if they make certain regulations, I think that if they, like I said, if they make it a thing of like, what are your finances, what is your mental state, and this for both parents, when you're having a child, you have to go to the doctor to get care. So if they implement those things, I think that can make a difference. It's not gonna take away 100% everything, but I think it can make a difference based off of what happened. Because this is happening at an alarming rate. Oh, hi, Steve. Why is your name Esteban? You did that last time. I guess it's the same account, but why don't you put Steve? Why are you trying to be incognito? But hey, thank you for tuning in. Did you hit the like button?
How you gonna put
Thank you.
out of this shit?
He wrote it in the comment.
What's good, bro? Alright, let me respond. You said a lot there.
I know, because this really hurts my heart. Like I love
It don't hurt my heart. Cause I've been here for a while. I've seen how things are. I understand why things are the way that they are. I'm gonna just tell you this, like, for a long time, nobody really cared about, and this is how we don't always want to victimize African American people, but in some cases, it's not our fault how these things happen. We want to populate. We want to meet people. We want to be with our own people. We want to be with our kind. But we're not staying in these relationships. The problem is a lot of times, yeah, the kids grow up in a broken home. They're getting yelled at because of what I said. We were just talking about it. Those fucking stress factors. How they deal with these things. And the kid is absorbing that behavior. So they get out into society with what they learn. They got a single mom that comes home from work all day because she's working 2 shifts. And she's tired and there's dishes in the sink and I was eating ice cream and shit. And she yelling at y'all because she told y'all not to have no dishes in the sink. So she cursing you out and all of this. It's not called for. It's not right. But I was talking to an older woman on my way over here, and she was saying how everybody had thicker skin in a certain part of society, so we're able to deal with certain things. And now we look back on it, and we're so much softer. And I gave her an old saying that I heard before, which was, hard times make strong men, easy times make weak men. And because of that, you know, the parents aren't parenting, they're not doing what they're supposed to do, and all we're doing is producing weaker men because they don't understand. They're very smart, they're brilliant, but they don't understand the gumption that you have to be a man, in addition to having the intelligence. Because when I grew up in an era, it was, you know, you was catching the bus by yourself. Before my age, they was catching planes at my age. You know what I mean? Like, I was working at 9. When I tell people that, they like, what? No, you wasn't. You know what I mean? You gonna tell me about my life? Like, yeah, I was. You know what I mean? And I knew the value of $1 very early. And I just used the money to get what I wanted to get because I was just looking at what everybody else got. And then I just realized, like, damn, they don't have much. Like, they got nice things, but they don't have equity. They don't have property. They don't have land. They don't have any generational wealth. But they got something you can see. They got chains, they got jewelry, they got this, they got that. But those tangible things that's going to last lifetimes, we don't have it. The knowledge that lasts forever, preparation for whatever is to come. We don't even think about these things. We just, like, live our day-to-day, check to check, and that's just normal how it is. And we were saying millionaires. Some millionaires are literally living check to check, just to sustain the luxuries that they got when they got to become a millionaire status. They didn't want to go to Walmart when they became a millionaire. You know what I mean? They didn't want to do certain things because it was beneath them at that point. And that's the problem with people. Like, we get paid more money, but we're in more stress than ever. You know what I mean? And a lot of it comes from budgeting. A lot of it comes from poor decision making. A lot of it comes from not having a counterpart, just being alone, just thinking that you have to be by yourself. You don't need anybody else. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? Like, if this lady had a man, like, I'm not even saying, like, you know what I mean, whatever, but if she had a man, there's no way a kid would have been in the house for fucking 10 days, bro. A fucking infant? Like, that's crazy, bro. Like, 10 days? Like, not even one day. Like, you know what I mean? It's crazy, but 10 days is excessive. And then I'm like, yo, just like, it's like nothing. Like, she having a great time, enjoying herself. She was taking pictures and everything. Yeah, she was having a great time, enjoying herself. And it wasn't a Kevin McAllister moment. You ain't just like,
because she didn't
you ain't
want
just
no
think like,
kids,
oh.
that's what I'm saying. I think if you really wanted to have children and you loved your baby,
but did you know, like, did
she
she know that the baby wouldn't survive? Like I'm trying to, was it postpartum? What was going on? Like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to understand that deeper, but that's a crazy situation. I don't want to give her no color, but I just wanted to say that. I was like, just to highlight more how we deal with stress. Whatever stress it was that made her think it was okay to do that. Y'all gotta work on that. Don't let that happen. Don't be that crash though. Real. It's crazy out here, man. So,
baby
what are you saying? Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say the time.
Who?
Baby daddy cheated on me with his mom, and now she pregnant.
This is funny.
And this woman, she got a story to tell.
Story time on how I found out that the father of my child was cheating on me with his mother, and his mother ended up being pregnant. Yes, bitch. So this was about 5 years ago, and everything was going smooth, cool, calm, collect, whatever. One day I just was getting weird fucking vibes out of no fucking where from his mother, like, is you cool, ho? So she walked up to me and she said, do you really love my son like you say you do? I'm like, where the fuck is this coming from? Remind you, I've been dating him for fucking years. I'm like,
So basically, it's a long story. She did a story time on TikTok. I'm gonna link it in the description below. And basically, this woman, she found out that her baby daddy cheated on her with her mom, and now the mom is pregnant. And she did a TikTok compilation, a story time, and it has multiple parts.
Shit is wild.
So
I don't
what
know
do you
if
think
she's
about
trolling.
it? That's some Jerry
I don't know
Springer,
if
Lori
she's trolling
type
or what. You feel me? Yo,
what do you think about that? Steve, are you available? Can we call you? Who's that? Somebody just wrote, hey Smiley, hi, thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button. Somebody wrote, hey Smiley.
What up?
But what do you think about that, Smiley?
I think it's interesting.
Interesting.
I think it's interesting. I think it's, first of all, it's disgusting. Let's just start there. So let's start, instead of saying interesting first, because you're gonna think it's I detest it. That's incest, right? So if this is true and not a troll, I want to believe that there's something twisted, some Norman Bates type of stuff going on, that, you know what I mean, she needs to get full custody if she has proof. Get away, because you don't want your kid around that. If you know that there's something like that, that's very weird. That's grim. You know what I mean? So, like, you don't want your children around that. And you got pregnant, like, woo, that's...
So now you in there, because now you about to have a baby by him, and you just found it out.
That's wild.
Now you stuck, because you like, do I want him in my child's life? but then I need to maneuver, like, do I want the grandmother in my child's life? Maybe if she's supervised by yourself.
No, I don't even want her around my kid.
If I'm there, because I can, if she ain't saying nothing crazy in front of me or doing nothing crazy when I'm there, but you're not gonna be, she ain't gonna be around you by herself. If I'm not there, then no, because y'all got some weird stuff going on. Like,
Yeah, nah, she wild. She is wild.
What do y'all think in the comments? A woman found out that her baby father, well, she just got pregnant, and she found out that her child's father has a kid, his kid is by his mother. What do y'all think about that in the comments? Is that crazy?
That's like a corn storyline.
Yeah, they do. They be doing like
Something wild.
stepmother, mother-in-law,
Yeah,
or like they do be having
it's a very
a sector.
It's if it is something like that, I feel so sorry for the children. Like everything always comes down to the kids when there's kids involved.
Yeah, because they're suffering the most.
And if it's public like that, she blasting it. Like, you don't got no decorum. Like that. Like, I get so tired of these dudes like blasting these chicks on the internet. Like what do you get out of that? Like, now if you're defending yourself, like they got that the tea tree app or whatever. Is that what it is?
No, the tea app.
The tea app.
Tea tree is oil.
Okay, my bad. The tea app. You know what I mean? And it be giving out all the tea, I guess.
Well, it was originally intended for women to find out if they're to make sure that their man is being faithful, or the man that they're pursuing is being faithful. But then it got out of hand because they started listing like, oh, this person has a disease and this person doing extra stuff that you really shouldn't be. It was only intended to say like, oh, this man, we told you he's only dealing with you, but he's dealing with Susan and Kim and all these other people. So now you can decide if you want to, but they added extra stuff, so that's why I got out of hand. And allegedly, people have gotten unalived. Men have unalived women because of them leaking information.
Yeah, you gotta be careful with that, man. That's dangerous,
STD results and things like that. So,
dangerous. They be anonymous though. They be.
And then the men created a tea app. I forgot what it was called, but theirs got taken down because they started leaking nudes and theirs because they felt the way, like in retaliation, and theirs got taken down. And their app. But yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy. I don't know. And then it's kind of hard. Like if you already been dealing with the person, now you find out that you're pregnant, and then you find out at the same time when you just got pregnant that your child's father has another child by his mother. It's like, how do you deal with that? And while you want to keep your stress down while you're pregnant because you want to have a good pregnancy and a healthy baby, but it's like, do I even want to have a baby with this person anymore? Because it's like, what is going on? Like, this is crazy. And, you know, that's just disgusting. Like, I don't know, you need to call Child Protective Services. Like, I don't know, he's grown now, but it's like, that's molesting. How long was this going on? Was she doing this since he was a child? Is this something that started as an adult? Or how? I would assume that this was happening since he was young, and then that happened.
Where is these fathers at?
I heard, it was another story that I seen, and the father left because it was two women. It was a daughter and her mom. Obviously, she didn't get her pregnant, but they was messing around. And she was like, because the father didn't want to join in, he left. Because he was like, he didn't want to be a part of that. And it's like, this is a mom and her daughter. So they was on some talk show talking about it, and it was on social media broadcasting it. And it was just disgusting. Like, I don't know. And people were like, you know, in the comments saying stuff, you know, because that's disgusting. Why are you sleeping with your daughter? Like, what's wrong with you?
Some girls have eyes.
Although they didn't look like kids have eyes. They look normal. But, I mean, because the person that she had a child with wasn't related, but she started messing around with her daughter. And she was like, yeah, if I want to, it was just crazy. She was like, if I want to eat your, like, then that's what I'm going to do. Like, I don't give a, and the girl was okay with it. She was like, yeah, that's my mother. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm like, what? Like, y'all are sick. Like, it's disgusting. I don't know. There's some sick people in the world. Like, just hide your kids, hide your, I don't know. Like, I don't know. Mercury is in retrograde.
Lil Nas X, he got in trouble. He was running with his underwear on
It looked like a
LA.
diaper.
And he was on some shit, I think Oxy or some shit. And he OD'd or whatever. He was in the hospital. I guess he recovered. But he assaulted a police officer, I think. He was wild. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Man.
Don't do drugs.
For real.
You can't. Yeah. Because what is going on?
Oh man.
I don't know. The world, I just, you know, you gotta stay prayed up because I feel like, and I don't like to say this, but the world is coming to an end. All this crazy stuff happening. I just seen a video. This guy drove into a ditch. Well, there was like a sinkhole. A black guy told him, don't drive. He was like, stop. There's a sinkhole. Like, the road is broken up. Like, don't, but you couldn't really see it. He was like, don't drive in it. The guy had a pickup truck. He kept going. The front of his car went into the hole. The back of the car, the pickup truck, was up in the air.
Where's that?
Like,
Greenville? What was it? Greenville?
Yeah.
What?
It was in Greenville. I don't know exactly.
Greenville,
It was
North
probably
Carolina.
in North Carolina. But I think so. But it was just crazy. And then he gonna say some racist mess talking about he didn't stop because he was like, when a person of your color tries to tell me, jumps out and tries to tell me something, I don't pay attention to it, no offense. But it's like, he was trying to help you. Like, what you mean? Like, a
Probably
person
thought he
of
was
your
trying to
color.
take his car.
Yeah, maybe he was. I mean, maybe he was just being honest, but you could have kept that to yourself. Like,
But see,
just
that's
get
the
out
world
the
we
car.
live in
And then
now.
when he first tried to tell him, he stuck his middle fingers up at him. Then when after he got out the car, then he was trying to explain himself or
He was
whatever.
like, I don't care. I'm
And
not gonna let you.
yeah, the black guy, he was like, I don't care what race you are. He was like, he didn't really hear him. He was live when he did. Then he read the comments and seen what he said or whatever, but he wasn't really paying attention to that. He was like trying to help him because he seen that the road was broken up or whatever. But the city came and fixed it, so they fixed it up. I guess the river nearby overflowed or something, and it broke up the road. So the city came and they fixed it the next day or whatever. So everything's okay now. But that's crazy. And we be having sinkholes around here too, like. And because Tanya said she seen one the other day when she was driving, and it's like, you know, like it's just crazy. I don't know, like I don't know. I just feel like it's becoming the end of days, and I just be thinking about like where my spirituality lies, like and stuff like that, and make sure I'm doing everything right and doing positive things, and you know. Because if it's over or if it's come to an end, you can't eat nothing. They said tomatoes had E. coli, frozen strawberry. They said don't eat eggs right now because something wrong with the eggs. You can't eat nothing. You can't wear nothing. They said always pads. People getting rashes. I actually got irritated by those or whatever. So it's like, they said use organic products now, and then I seen something a couple years ago that was like, don't, so if you wear certain leggings, they got a chemical in between the legs that might affect, like, I don't know, like everything, you can't wear nothing, you can't eat nothing, you can't do nothing. It's like, I don't even want to go nowhere or do nothing no more. I just want to sit here and just be naked, because it's like, what am I going to do? Every time I turn around, I see something on the news and something going wrong. And it's like, what are we going to do? Like, I don't know. It's just crazy. It's out of our control at this point. So you gotta stay prayed up, you gotta live your life right, you gotta make sure you're being a good person, and that's the best that you can do.
At least try to be good, whatever that is. Children swapped at birth. Moms confront each other after 6 years.
That be happening a lot.
Well, one of the mothers said, if you don't get off my property, I'm gonna call the police.
But the girl was like a teenager, and she looked like the lady that was saying that it looked like that was her mother.
Would after you raise the kid,
but that looked like it was her mother. I'm from the outside.
But that aside, think like a parent. You raised this kid, you bonded with this kid. Would you really want to just give the kid up, or would you be so like, okay, we gotta do this the proper way. I gotta make sure that you have a proper home. Like, I'm not just gonna give my kid up to you and just switch with our kids.
Yeah, you would want to get the other person, make sure all of that. But this has happened in real life, and they proved it. Like, not this particular incident, but this has happened before. This happens a lot, actually. Babies get switched at birth at the hospital. This happens a lot. They made a Lifetime movie about this, and it was based on a true story. And the woman, she knew that something wasn't right, or she kept doing research. She kept like, I don't think, she knew something wasn't right. The baby wasn't doing what it's like when she was trying to breastfeed and things like that. It was just like she knew something wasn't right. So this does happen. Although, yeah, you created a bond with this child because you raised this child, I think it's just the right thing to do. So if I found out, I would investigate and make sure that this is right. You do a DNA test and all that, make sure that you are the parent. But I would say, can I still be a part of the child's life? And I would make sure that this is a good person and that they have the best interest of the child, and the other child is being raised properly, that is my biological child. But I think, first of all, I'm going to sue the hospital, because how did you do this? But I feel like how, as a parent too, I feel like there should be something innately within you that would let you know, like, this is not your child. This is not the child that you had in your stomach for 9 months. Like, how do you? And then it don't look like you. It don't look like nobody.
But what if you connect with that child? You just.
Yeah, but if I find this out and everything is proven, I would want to do the right thing. I would ask them if I could still be a part of the child life, and I would explain to the child and everything. And if they're at the, yeah, but I would say, I want to be around. I want to make sure that they're comfortable.
I'm not giving my kid over here. You can't have it.
So I found it out first, or the other person found out and presented it to me. Because that's what is.
I'm just saying it doesn't matter, because now you're willing to do whatever you're
doing. Yeah, I know, because the other person presented it to me.
I'm not just saying if you know first or you know second.
So either way, if I found out, obviously, if I found out, I was doing research. That's how I found out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you so I wanted to find out. And if you told me, then I would do the right thing. But I would make sure that if I don't feel like that,
because I would assume the parent that is going hard about keeping the kid didn't do any research.
Well, I'm saying, we gotta take a DNA test, we gotta do all that, because we gotta make sure that it's right. And then I need to know that they're going into a good home and stuff like that. And I would talk to the child, and that it would have to be a slow, like, progressively. Maybe I would, if the child didn't feel comfortable right away, then I'll be like, maybe they could stay over for a night or two, or stay over for the weekend until they get comfortable. And because I think that's your biological parent. It's just like adoption. If they find out that, this is not, that they find out that they have another, they were actually birthed by someone else, and they want to be in that child's life, I want to make sure it's a safe space. And then gradually you have to, pump them. But I think, depending on the age of the child, is what they will want. Like, if they are able to decide and they're like, but I would encourage them, if I find out that this is your biological parent, I would encourage them to have a relationship. If they don't want to live with them and they're old enough to decide that they want to, because they do that too. Like they do that with the mother and the father. They're like, we want to go live with this parent, we want to go live, if they're old enough to decide that. So if it could be a situation like that, where they could be like, no, I want to stay here because I feel it's comfortable, I know this is the person that raised me, but I would encourage them to get to know their parent if I did my research and feel like they're a safe person. If I feel like they're not a suitable parent, then no, I would try to fight it. I'd be like, I would do my research, like, no, they're on drugs, they do this and that. The child that's supposed to be mine, they be leaving them in the house by themselves, they be doing this and that. They don't make enough money to provide for this child. I could give them a better lifestyle. They don't have enough support, like whatever. Like, so, but I think it's the right thing, like, because it's not neither one of our fault, and the hospital messed it up. So I don't think I should just, I would look into it before I just automatically be like, no, this is my kid, I'm keeping him and you can't. That's not right, because it's not fair. And I would definitely sue the hospital because that's negligent. How you give me the wrong kid? But I also don't understand how a parent can go home with the wrong kid, and how could you not know? Because I feel like you should feel something is not right. Maybe they ignored it. I don't know, but you carried this child for 9 months. How you go home with a different kid and not feel that something is not right? But that's just my opinion. Who am I? I don't have kids. What do you think?
I mean, I think, given the trauma that they went through and everything, I think they would definitely probably have anxiety, thinking that it might not be their kid, it might be their kid, or they would know what their baby looks like if they held it, they looked into the baby's eyes. But what if you only see the kid, like, once the baby's taken out, they forgot how it goes, right?
Yeah, they do.
They give it to you right after?
And do skin to skin. And then they go put them in the,
Alright, so you see the baby, they go bring the baby.
they clean them up and then
If it's another baby that was born at the same time that looks like your baby, that might be difficult. But then
I don't think they take them away unless, other than to clean them up, unless it's something wrong. They might take them to the NICU if they're not breathing properly or if there's some other type of
like,
issue.
I'm trying to figure out how you
But
have
if
a
there's
baby
no issue, they give
for
them
so
right.
long, for so many years, and
Yeah,
you
but they don't
know.
look like nobody. That would be a key indicator too. Like, you would think. I mean, some people have kids and they don't necessarily look like that. I feel like they should normally, they have somebody's feature or something like that.
She
They would
just
look
thought
like
it
the
was a
father
blessing.
or the mother, or
She's like, oh, look at my baby here. She know her hair don't look like
a
that.
baby white and y'all are black and nobody is that white in the family. So
She got reverse vitiligo, y'all.
man upset because his wife made his friend a plate before him.
Disrespectful as hell, man. You think that shit cool, bro? I would never go to your house and ask your wife to make me a plate, bro. What you mean, bro? This shit legit. You like, bro, put the fucking thing down. That shit disrespectful as hell. What you mean? It's disrespectful. What you mean? You wouldn't even make my motherfucking plate, shit. What you mean, man? I'm like, you make me. I make you do a plate for me. That shit crazy as hell. I'm just saying, bro, like, at the end of the day, bro, you can make your own fucking plate, bro. Shit, you can make it. And bro, you still fucking making a plate.
do you think about this?
So so I'll give a subjective argument, but I'll give the objective argument about it. So I'm gonna say my personal opinion first. My personal opinion about the situation is I feel like in some cases I may have behaved that type of way if I felt like somebody was being favored over me. But I also would behave like I'm not going to address this right now with you. I'll address this when we're by ourselves. If I feel like that. Because we don't know the context of how long she been doing shit or how she favors him probably, or if she really never did make him no food and then today she just decides she want to make something and make him a plate and she never made his plate. Oh, you ain't never made my plate before, but you gonna make a plate for this dude. Like, I can understand that, but the way that you come at that shit, like, and sometimes, yeah, you gotta say something. And I would say as a man, you definitely should say something, but she should already know better. And then that's the thing, like, if your woman knew, she would be like, oh, it's enough to make him a plate if you want something to eat. After I already ate, you feel me? You're not eating before the man of the house.
But that's the thing. She said she asked him if he want something to eat, and he said
Right,
no. So
right.
he only got mad because now you serving it. But that's your friend.
We ain't wasting food. We ain't wasting food. Like honestly, the way he handled it to me, I feel like in this state of mind, objectively, I would feel like he handled it poorly. He behaved like a big baby. Put it online. He fucking was whining. He fucking oh, you really gonna just eat you gonna still eat it?
No stoicism.
Like, you know what I mean? Like just.
And then the dude was like, I'll
black.
just leave, but he ain't leave. He was kind of big too. He was ready for that.
That was, I mean, that was his overweight friend. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? He was sitting there about to have a plate so food didn't go to waste. And if that's really your boy, you offer, yo, do you mind making him something to eat? Or hey, there's something in here to eat. Or if you in one of those houses where it's like, oh, this is my man, you'll make yourself a sandwich or something. Wash your hands, whatever, go do what you do. And he could just come in and make some shit for himself. It's cool, but I don't know the circumstance of his situation. I just see a man lashing out at the dude and his bro looking dumbfounded like, nigga, she asked me. Like, shit, who gonna turn down the plate? Who gonna turn down a free plate? Like, oh, I know she could cook. You done told me she could cook. Like, I wanna try it. You know what I mean? Like, you not wrong if your boy telling you, yo, you gotta try my wife's quiche. You know, and you might hate quiche. Right, you might hate quiche. But she might have like the best quiche that you've ever had or whatever. Like, oh shit, it got shrimp in it, it got lobster. You know what I mean? So it just depends on the people and the situation. But I would say, from what I seen in that video, dude handled that really poorly. I'm not gonna. If that's my boy, like I said, if that's my boy, I would ask Shorty if she want to make him a plate. You know what I mean? And if she don't feel like doing it, I'll be like, yo, I'll make you a plate. You know what I mean? I'll go in there and scrape it up because I'm not about to eat in front of him if I know it's enough for him. Now, if I know it's only enough for me, her, our child, whatever, and it ain't enough for this nigga, I ain't gonna eat in front of him. I'm gonna be like, yo, make my shit, put it in the microwave. But if she give my portion to dude and I ain't eat, and I gotta order something or some shit, I'm gonna be mad, like, you know what I mean? So
yeah, you should definitely make sure if somebody comes to my house,
make sure you put something to the side for your man.
If I had a man, I'm single now. But if I had a man, I'm gonna cook or whatever. But like, if I have company or whatever, if I'm cooking, I'm going to offer food to whoever's there. I don't think you should just sit and eat in front of people I think that's disrespectful to say and eat in front of people and not offer them anything. If they say they don't want it, then one thing, then that's one thing. But like I said, I feel like he was just being petty because she said in the video that she asked him did he want something, and he said he didn't want anything. But then when he found out that she was giving a plate to his friend, now all of a sudden he wants something. That's being petty. Like yeah, I would serve my man first, but if it's enough for everybody, or I wouldn't even, if it wasn't enough, I wouldn't even be eating in front of you. Wouldn't even know that we did. I'll wait till you leave or eat before you get here because it's not enough to share. I think that's just out of respect.
Like I ain't gonna bring all the kids McDonald's. I'm gonna just have my son eating in the car.
I don't know. People don't got no manners, and he was in his feelings. Like baby.
Yeah, he handled that for me. But on a high note, you could go to Indonesia, and there's an island. I forgot what the name of the island was. Jeez, I should have had the name of the island right. But it is in Indonesia. If you look up island with 77% women in Indonesia, it'll come up. I think it begins with a B. Female population.
Cardi B
But
is accused of being F-phobic, F-A-T phobic. I don't think you could say that word. And you know, she made a video saying like, oh, you F-A-T biatches, or the 3X. So I'm just gonna play. I have a clip.
Myra gets involved. Tell me your thoughts down below, guys, on this situation. My personal opinion, I would have said create more bigger sizes for your fans. Or if you're offended as a bit towards her fans, Myra gets involved. Tell me your thoughts down below, guys, on this situation. My personal opinion, I would have said
That ain't it. But a fan responded back after she said it. Excuse me.
Underestimated the box sets, so the box sets are completely sold out, especially because you fat fucks, clearly you guys are fat as fuck. No Chick-fil-A for y'all. All the 3X sold out. Yo, the 3X sold out like in 20 minutes. Now, knowing that my fans is fat, I can't even make fun of fat people no more.
After this rant right here,
So she said, "You fat bees, you FAT bees, bought all the 3X's," and then someone responded. A fan responded, and then she was like, "That's FAT phobic." Her name is Samira, and she told her, "If you're not aware of this, then you need to read these books." And then she said, "Girl, I'm not reading nothing. I'm not apologizing. If y'all feel some type, it was a joke. Get over it. Blah blah blah. Like I'm just being real. It was a joke that I had with my fans." And she was like, "If you feel some type of way, then here's a cupcake." And she had a cupcake in the video, and she was like, "Here." Have a cupcake. So they saying that she's FAT phobic every time, every day is a new phobia that they just making up. I feel like if you offended is because you did, then yeah, you need to lose weight, but that doesn't give, like, okay, I feel like when you're a celebrity, you have a responsibility. You have to be mindful of, like, these are your fans, like, so you gotta be mindful, you gotta watch what you say, but we also know Cardi B's ratchet. She's gotten famous for her ignorance and for her ratchet ratchetivity and the way she conducts herself. She has no decorum. So I don't know why we're expecting a higher level of behavior of her than how she normally is. Like, she's not gonna, she says she's not apologizing. She's not sorry. It was a joke. Y'all taking it serious, and she, you know, I don't think it's right. I don't think you should cut on people. I don't think that's okay. But we gotta see who we're dealing with. Like, she don't care about people's feelings or who she just gonna keep it real and just gonna be herself. She's ratchet, and that's who she is. So you're expecting more, and this is nothing new. She always come out with some nonsense or saying something
But this
crazy.
is what they want. This is what they want.
So, but I do think that the people that are offended is like, if you wearing the 3X, then you are FAT, and not even just for appearance wise. Like, if you're that size, unless it like runs small or something, but if it's like a real big shirt, like it's the normal, it's true to size, and it's really a 3X, then maybe you are unhealthy. Not maybe. If you wear 3X and it's true to size, then you should work out, because you're probably not healthy. You're probably gonna have high blood pressure issues or some type of, that's a health concern. You shouldn't be wearing that size. Okay, so you should probably look into that. And then you don't have to worry about being offended by what somebody says. But even if you are FAT, that doesn't give someone the right to criticize you and make fun, especially when that's the one that's supporting it, because those are the people that was that side that you talking about that got sold out first.
It
So
was not.
that's crazy.
I ain't get this. Faction. They be saying like we gotta bring faction.
You can't say it.
I mean, I'm sorry, FAT shame.
You can't say nothing. You can't say GAY.
So Africa has their first humanoid robot named Omeife. It's in Uganda.
What happened?
So Uganda has an African humanoid, the first African humanoid robot. It had prawn braids. It was crazy. Moves around. It's got a mouth that moves. Like, I don't know. It's crazy because Africa got that. Like, so.
Africa is not even as advanced. You would think.
They
China
might got some Wakanda
China
on the low.
I was about to say, you would think, but China is a country, Africa is a continent, but China and Japan are like the most advanced when it comes to things like, they have robots too, but I didn't see a black one, cornrows, but they do have humanoid type of, I seen something with them too, and it's like, this is crazy. I don't think that technology should progress to that level and that specific, because it's like, people are going to be, what are you doing with these robots? They're going to take over the world, and I'm not ready. Like, I don't, like, it's gonna be like, iRobot.
That's cute.
What?
I said that's cute.
It's cute. I mean, it's possible for that to happen.
I mean, I don't know. It is possible because we watch those movies, but is it possible?
It's not possible because
like scientifically,
we watch the movies. It's possible because it can happen.
Because it can happen.
We're aware of it.
There's so many misconceptions with certain things. Like, there was a movie that came out in the 80s called Maximum Overdrive.
Called what?
Maximum Overdrive. And like everything went crazy, like all the equipment went crazy. The 18-wheelers was driving by themselves. They didn't even have 18-wheelers that drove by themselves. Like, but they were like driving by themselves, crashing into people.
You're saying LOL, Selena. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button. But people have actually, okay, let's talk about these cars. Now they have Ubers in certain states. They already got the Teslas that self-drive, but now they got Ubers for people that don't have cars that self-drive. And it's only in certain states so far. And this guy in Philly, he got in one, he was riding it around, he was so excited, blah blah blah. But then there was this guy, I don't remember what state it was in, but it was his car, and something was wrong with his paperwork. Either his license was suspended, or the car wasn't registered, or something was wrong with his paperwork or whatever. He said the car stopped in the middle of traffic because he didn't have his papers right or whatever. So they got it set up so it's like, because you ain't, now you should have your paperwork right. I'm not condoning that or whatever, but that's also dangerous. How you just stop the car in the middle of traffic because he don't have his, like, okay, drive him to the DMV or whatever, or wherever he need to go to get his papers right, or do what he needs to do, or don't let him drive it in the first place. It should be locked so he can't drive it, and send him a notification in his phone like, you can't drive the car until you get this straightened out. Why would you allow him to get in the vehicle and drive and then stop in the middle of traffic? He could have been in an accident, he could have got unalived, he could have unalived someone else. So knowing that these situations are already happening, is not a laughing matter, because if they're able to do that, they could bring you to the police station. They could lock you in the car and it's a computer at the end of the day. So it's able to be controlled by someone else that's not in the car driving it themselves. So that's what we have to, so it's a car, that's the same thing as a robot. It's just a different form or whatever. But it's still a computer that somebody else has the ability to control. So, we want to think that, oh no, this can't happen, because we want to think positive and be like, but it's possible. If we're hearing stories about things that have actually happened on another level that's almost linear with it, on the same level, like.
There's going to be drawbacks and failures in science. For research and development, you got to break eggs to make omelets.
That's not a drawback. They did that on purpose.
No, but I'm saying some things happen when things are in the beta stage of development. So then they got to be reconfigured and all this other shit. So when someone creates something, whoever the person that creates that shit, you gotta believe that person has the best intention. They may not. People do what people are capable of doing. But the problem is, and it goes back to stress factors. Risk taking. Sometimes it's a good thing, sometimes it's a bad thing. It's not always the worst thing. It's like either you're gonna do something or you're not gonna do anything. So you take that opportunity and you see if it works, if it pans out. And sometimes it will, and sometimes it won't. I don't know, technology, we're trying to put our best foot forward. We're trying to solve medical anomalies. We're trying to fix people that have critical illnesses. We're trying to make people live longer. We're trying to make people last longer. We're trying to make people be born with no birth defects. We're trying to do a lot of stuff. And then you got the Lex Luthors. You got people that's out here that's probably trying to do all negative stuff. You know what I mean? There's always going to be the hero and the villain. You know what I mean? But the neutral thing is the tech. The heroes use it and the villains use it. You just want to make sure more heroes are using the tech than the villains, because the heroes are going to bring us to a better level, societal-wise. You hope that you get somebody like Captain America. I keep saying comic book characters because it's more relatable to think that somebody can be that noble, but that's a cartoon, that's animation. In real life, people take advantage of opportunities most of the time. In business, it's a dark place. People will still take an advantage on business if they can. So, like, they got this guy, Marquette. He tries to buy Umar's school, but he wants a part of the property. Bad mouth from him, so he don't believe he's a scammer. I don't know.
He said he'll pay whatever taxes he owes, so he can, but he want to get recognition.
Right.
that's the condition.
Right. And my argument is like, it's business. You know, business not good or bad. It's neutral. It is what it is. If he still allows him to do what his intentions are and build a black school for black youth, I completely support him at least doing it because nobody else is. But if he just wants to just take it and just sell it to the highest bidder, flip it, I think that's terrible. You know what I mean? I don't like that idea. But that's how business works. That's how business works. It's not a pretty game. And a lot of times, just thinking about anything, when we take a step into a certain realm, we have to accept what that means. Because if we don't do it, and time progresses, we're gonna fall behind. So we need good tech. I don't think we need neural links, but I definitely think we need good tech.
We already got the neural links. Too late.
Yeah, some people be doing it, but I ain't doing that. It's crazy.
But yeah, I don't know, that's the same thing. Somebody could hack into that. Or it could be used for negativity. We just have to figure out what is the intention of the person who's creating these devices. And we don't have no way of knowing that because if it's negative or not.
There was a movie I watched, Megan, the new Megan movie. And the dude and the other android got in control of his he had like what you call it, like a mobile suit or something like that. Like he had like augmentations or something, like cyborg augmentations and shit, like eyes and a back. His spine was made out of some type of robot shit. One of his arms, you know what I mean? So she's controlling his whole body from inside of his head. Like it's crazy. Like that, we worry about having all that. And I'm not telling people to go become a cyborg. Like that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about, not being afraid of the future. That's it.
We have a future, but we need all this extra technology.
We might not if we didn't have some of this stuff. We might not if we didn't have it. You gotta think about the pros and cons. You gotta think about how good technology was.
Think about, yeah, there's some good parts, but I'm saying the wrong things. It could be detrimental.
I said, yeah, that's something we gotta deal with. Because people just do what they do.
Well, we might not be able to deal with it. We will cease to exist because it's something that they do.
Certain things are so under lock and key. The only person that can get it is Deacon Hunt. So it depends, like. But we do got some geniuses out here.
Well, do you have any other topics?
No.
Alright, well, if you haven't noticed, if you've been tuning in for the whole time, we are missing a member today. I don't know if he's gonna come back. We're still working some things out, and if you want to come back, he's still welcome. But today he didn't want to be a part of it, so. Well, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Get Lifted 30 Living 20. Hit the like button, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you're notified the next time we post or go live. I'm La Hefa, aka Erica.
Smiley Jizzle. You know, I want to say, like, for everybody. You know what I mean? I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in. I appreciate the likes. I appreciate the love. Keep tapping in. We're gonna keep coming to y'all at 8 o'clock every Sunday.
Eastern Standard Time. We
Definitely.
also got merch.
I'm committed. We got merch. We out here. We about to do the street team thing. I'm gonna put in that work, man. For y'all, man. I appreciate y'all, definitely.
Y'all have a good night. See you next Sunday.